Does Walmart require that you need a hazmat to work for them? Well, the short answer is yes. And I know some people make a big deal out of this. I've known a lot of drivers that they think that they shouldn't have a hazmat. This is too much liability or responsibility on them. That this is something extra that just shouldn't be necessary to haul, just general freight or groceries and these types of things. And, for the most part, I kind of understand where they're coming from. But really, the thing is, it's to your benefit to have a hazmat, even if you don't need it. And I'll explain more about that here in just a minute. Let me talk about this first, though. I I've talked about referrals before, and it's not a requirement for me to help. I like helping people, answering questions. Um, I'm willing to email back and forth to help people out, even if you're not getting a job at Walmart. Anybody that's in truck driving or wanting to get into it, I love trying to give answers to questions that they can't figure out or some kind of guidance. But if you have thought about working for Walmart and you're not sure how it works, well, the referral program, basically, I do get some money for that. And all you have to do is just put my information in on the application. And let me put the information on the screen here. So this is my information here. And so I say put it on the application. You put it in where it says, where did you hear about Walmart? And then other, there's a choice that says other. And then you would put this information in. And it would be on the website. Here's a website, driveforwalmart.com. That's drive, the number 4, walmart.com. And so I know that that's one place, but I'm learning now that if you get a call back for an interview, when you accept the interview with an email, I guess, that it asks you a series of questions, and then they say somewhere in there, it says, did you get a referral or who referred you or something like that. But even if you can't find in any of those places where to put it, you can always tell your recruiter or whoever your point of contact is that you'd like to use someone as a referral. And I would really appreciate it. And so the benefit for you would be that a lot of times, and I say a lot of times, you'll get a call back faster, or you'll get a call back. Otherwise, maybe you wouldn't. Some people have said, well, I didn't have a referral. I got a call back in like 3 days. Yes, that is possible. But a lot of times when you're applying for, let's say there's only one position in the DC you want, and, 100 people apply, let's just say. Well, if there's 5 of those people or 10 of those people, let's say, that have referrals, they may not go past 10. They may just call those 10 people back and then end up hiring one of them, and you may not even get a call back. So, it just depends on where you're trying to work, which DC, and it really is a benefit to you. I mean, it helps. And so if you want to ask me about it, or you want to just need some help, let's say you're not even getting a driving job with Walmart, you're just getting into truck driving, any way you want to look at it, this is my email right here. Feel free to email me. I'll be glad to help, give answers to any questions you might have. And I just, maybe you just want to talk. I really do enjoy that. So as far as the hazmat goes for Walmart, they do require it. Like I said, that's the short answer, but they're pretty lenient on how that works. I'm really surprised how lenient they are. Well, it should still be this. They'll give you 120 days after the date of hire to get your hazmat. And they don't just throw you out there like, oh, go get it and come back. They will pay for it, and I believe they will help you if you need some help or any of that process. I know they will, actually. And so, 120 days is a lot. And so it's not a rush thing or a hassle. They're being really good about it. The thing about hazmat here at Walmart is that, honestly, I almost never haul hazmat. I mean, there's always some hazmat on a load, but I mean, it's not enough to be placarded. And, Bic lighters, that's a big one. You may get like 10 pounds of Bic lighters. I mean, you don't need placards for that. Or maybe you'll haul, cosmetics or different things like hairspray or whatever. And most of the time, those are what they call, I think it's reportable quantities. And you don't need a placards for that. Sometimes, like in the springtime, we may get those little canisters. They're only 80 tall that are for like camp stoves. And you may get a load that may be over 1,000 pounds with that. Okay, in that case, yeah, you may need to placard it. But I mean, again, this is rare. I mean, I get just maybe a couple of them a year where I actually need placards. And again, they don't just throw you out there to the wolves to figure it out, to get caught at the scale because you messed up or whatever. I mean, they have guides they give us on how to figure out if you need placards. I know in some of the DCs, the manager will come and talk to you about it and say, let's look it over. You don't need placards. We've checked it out for you. Not all the DCs, I don't think, are that way, but I mean, so it's not like a scary thing or some big liability that's going to go on you. I mean, it just doesn't work like that. And, my thought is, well, why wouldn't you want your hazmat? I mean, not that I'm trying to discourage you from getting a job at Walmart, but, perfect example, my brother-in-law, which, unfortunately he's passed away since he got his driving job and, this type of thing, nothing related to driving. But when he got into this, he didn't have a Walmart DC near him. And he wanted to get into truck driving, but he wanted to make good money. And I told him right off the bat, hey, you're too far from any of our distribution centers because you got to be within 250 miles. He lived near a big city and a couple of big cities. And I said, you should just get your hazmat. And I guarantee you will roll into a job that, maybe you can be home every night, most likely will be. Maybe make, $100,000 a year or more. It just depends on what he comes across, and early on too. And he really did. He proved it. Like, he did that. He landed up like pretty much right out of school. He got a job. Well, no, it was right out of school. He got a job with a local, where they locally deliver fuel. Fairly quickly, within the first year, I think it was, he ended up getting a better job. Same situation. He was on schedule for making six figures by his third year. He was up pretty close to that in those first 2 years. And so, I mean, he was such a good example of why you would want your hazmat, if you just want to get on it and make the money. He did not want to go over the road whatsoever, so it was perfect for him. So, I mean, if you have, and by the way, I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the video here. You can go check out the interview I had with him. Plus, I had another interview, like a update interview, so go ahead and check that out. But, the thing is that you don't know what the future holds. I mean, I just seen a comment the other day where there was a driver, he said he worked 5 months for Walmart. And, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but there was all this stuff that he didn't like. Apparently he had a bad experience. I don't really know. I wasn't there. I'm just going off what he said. And he ended up going, and he said he got a local job 5 days a week, 2 days off, hauling fuel locally. Said he was making $90,000 to $100,000 a year. I don't know his situation, if he had been driving for many years or if he was new, but I mean, it didn't surprise me a bit. I mean, to have your hazmat is to ensure your future of getting a better job that pays more. And if it's really important to you that you want to be home every night, yeah, that's going to be a big one, especially if you live around, a big city or something like that. And so the whole thing with having your hazmat is, what is your plan for it? Some people just get it when they come here because they're like, well, I have to have it. And that's just all there is to it. You really should value it. Even if you don't work at Walmart or let's say you go into a job that, just doesn't require it. You should value it and you should keep it. I mean, once you have it, I know out here in California, I've had to renew my license a few times over 23 years. And every single time they give me the hazmat test, I have not had any other test but the hazmat test when I go to renew. And I'll be honest with you, it is really easy. At this point, I don't even have to study. Well, I haven't had to study in years. I mean, I just walk in, take the test. It's like 20 some odd questions. I ace it and I'm out of there. I mean, not much has changed with hazmat over the years. It's all pretty much the same. So, I mean, to me, that's a benefit. The other benefit is that when you travel, you get the TSA pre-check. And anybody can get a TSA pre-check, but you got to get a background check, and then you got to pay, I think it's like $86. And I'll be honest with you, it has been great. When we went to Kauai this last year, yeah, the airport was just packed full. And my wife and my oldest daughter, they had to pay for theirs and get it, but we all had it. They needed it. And we just walked past hundreds of people and simply just, went over to our terminal area and waited to get on the plane. No standing in line for a long time. I know when we came back from Hawaii, we did the same thing. The place was just packed. And a friend of mine, he was there and he left like a week later. He ended up not able to get on his plane and he had to stay an extra day because it was so packed full of people. It's kind of a benefit. Like I said, anybody can get it, but when you have hazmat, I mean, Walmart pays for it. It's like $86. You get fingerprinted, you get a background check, and it's good for, I think it's 5 years. And so I don't even have to think about it. When I go to get on a plane, or let's say I get a plane ticket, I just simply put down my driver's license number on where, I forget what they call it, your TSA pre-check number or whatever. I just put my driver's license number down. Works like a charm. No problem. That's what they told me to do. So, I mean, that's just one benefit out of, several I can think of. Like I said, you want a good local job, you can't beat hazmat. I mean, when I first got into truck driving, I landed up, I had done Swift for just a short while in the beginning, only to get enough experience to go somewhere. Within that year, I was working for a small fuel company where, up where I live at, a lot of people, they heat their homes with kerosene. And we also have a lot of farms and things around. So there's diesel that gets hauled with a lot of their equipment. And so you're driving a straight truck. Again, that was Monday through Friday. I didn't even have a year's experience yet, and they hired me. I don't know if that's easily can be done nowadays, but I mean, it was back then. They had no problem hiring me. And I was home every night, had Saturday and Sunday off. I'm not really a Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday guy. I like what I'm doing, but I mean, I know some people that's an absolute must. And if it wasn't for the hazmat, I wouldn't have had that. Along with that, you have to have your tanks for a tanker's endorsement to have hazmat. And I ended up working years at a food grade smoothbore tanker company. Loved it. It was great. That's not hazmat, but it's still, if I wasn't going to get my hazmat, I probably wouldn't have bothered getting the tankers, to be honest with you. So, I mean, it really paid off in the end. And so, I mean, there's benefits to having this. But as far as, being a hassle or too much responsibility on you, I mean, it really isn't. As usual, the general public makes a big deal, and they make up these arguments of, how these straw man arguments where this and this could happen, and then, everything just can be just terrible after that. Well, I've been doing this 23 years and I've never had anything like that. So, I mean, don't listen to people that they swear you shouldn't get it. I just think it's a wrong situation. It really is a good thing. Look, you're into truck driving. This is your career. You know, the maximum is specialty type things like hauling fuel, tankers. You know, there is oversized and things like that, a flatbed, you know, house movers. There's all kinds of stuff out there that, you know, requires either a special license or a special skill. I mean, if we're going to do it, then do it. Don't play around with it. You know, go for your maximum money, go for your maximum enjoyment at your job. I enjoy going to my job, and if it took hazmat to have that, then so be it. You know, that's what I'm going to get. So, well, by the way, check out my new hoodie here. See if you can see it clear. Actually, it looks pretty nice. I like it. I do believe we have this in the store. If not, I'll probably have it up by the time I publish this video. But we do have different apparel there, Walmart driver stuff, and just truck driver apparel. Hoodies, t-shirts, and hats. I love my hat. And so, you know, with that, I'm going to probably call it good. And I appreciate you watching my video. And I will catch you guys next time.